My name is Andrea Zittel. I'm here at the Middelheim Museum in Antwerp. When Sarah approached me a little over a year ago, I thought it would be impossible to put something together on this scale by June 2015. But the idea of the Middelheim Museum intrigued me, an outdoor museum that was truly accessible to the public, and then I did a site visit, and after that I was hooked. The work in this exhibition is a continuation of an investigation that's been going on in one way or another for the last 25 years. It's an exploration into very simple forms that have the ability to shift or morph depending on how they're placed in the world or how we choose to think about them. And of course, the physical properties of these objects likewise have the capacity to shift our own perceptions or awareness of the realities of the world around us, the same way that the walls of this room divide inside from outside, or the way that a piece of paper would result in my saying the words that are written on it. The title Flatfield Work was meant not only to describe the field that the works have been placed in, but in English the word field also means an area of expertise or even a field of reality. Also, the word field evokes certain aspects of modernism or minimalist art. For instance, the work of Carl Andre, who made flat floor works that you can walk on, or Walter de Maria's lightning field. A plane or a panel is an amorphous form that moves easily between categories according to the context in which it's used. Depending on how it's made and what it's used for, or how it's positioned in the world, it can be a doormat, a tablecloth, a sheet of paper that you write on, or the wall that divides this room from the next one. It can support, cover, protect, or just be something to look at. For instance, when a panel is flat or horizontal, it functions as a platform for actions and behavior. These are sites where life happens, things like floors, tables, benches, fields, streets. I call these terms energetic accumulators. Or when a panel is placed vertically, it privileges the eye, and it's the carrier of messages, meaning, and ideology. Things like walls, screens, paintings, billboards. These are called ideological resonators. The works in the Braempaviljoen are more attuned to the idea of personal or private experience. Ideally, they're pieces that you would live with or that you would have in your home. The Flatfield Works are more public works, but even so, I like to think of them as enabling people to have private experiences in public places. The parallel planar series are made out of overlapping panels of hand-woven textiles and thick aluminum sheets that have been sprayed with black, high-gloss car paint. If you think about planes or panels as isolated aspects of reality, these overlapping planes can be experienced as two parallel realities. The woven elements are the product of artisanal craft, while the metal sheets are the result of industrial mass production. For the A to Z cover series, we sent a group of weavers who were located all over the U.S. the same set of materials and instructions. They were asked to switch thread colors with each new weaving session while marking the beginning of each day with a strip of light yellow. The result is a reflection of the weavers' working patterns indicating when they took coffee breaks or the occasional phone call or other interruptions. The panels are suspended in space, so I kind of like to think of them as a representation of a dimension of time and space. The series that's titled Bench, after Jed, was inspired by a piece of furniture that I saw a long time ago in Donald Judd's home in Spring Street. The piece was made out of wood, and it kind of looked like a table, but it was 17 inches high, which is the height of a bench, and it had a Persian carpet on it. I thought about this piece for years, and I've always been really interested in how it confused the surface of the floor, because it had the Persian carpet on it, and the surface of a bench, because it was 17 inches, which is the height of something that you'd sit on, and the surface of a table, because the shape of the structure looked like a table. So a little more than a year ago, I decided to make a version of the work for my own house and to try living on it. Since then, I've been exploring different sorts of carpeting, although I always stay with something that you'd use on a floor in different heights. 2 versions of these experiments are on view at the Braempaviljoen. It's been a long time since I've had that feeling of being on something, like on a path that makes sense. The work has become so minimal. It's not what I thought I would be making, but it feels right. I feel really good about leaving it behind. I feel like for the last year and a half, I've been on a path with these works it's been kind of revealing itself to me where, before that it was always sort of forced, where I had to think about each thing that I was doing next. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do this show was because I knew that being able to make these sort of large-scale outdoor pieces was part of that puzzle, and it felt like the next step. And I feel really happy with the way that the works turned out. So it's been really nice because now I'm kind of excited about the next step, which I think will happen in Joshua Tree when I go home.